All right. We want to welcome everyone to our Fall 2025 Tiger Talk series. We have a really exciting topic today. We're going to talk with families about discovering the educational abroad opportunities that are available for your student. And we have our campus partners here from the Center for International Educational Services. We've got the executive director, Ms. Rebecca Lauman, and also one of her international advisors, um, Aaron Bellamy. Let me get that right. Okay. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And then we have a fun question we want to ask these two since they deal with travel a lot and a lot of international policies and things like that. So if you will go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining this session. My name is Rebecca Lauman. I'm Executive Director for the Center for International Education Services. And one of the units under the center is our Education Abroad office. Education abroad is my passion. I started at the University of Memphis 25 years ago as the Study Abroad Director. And so the opportunity to talk to new students and share the resources we have for education abroad is always something that I love doing. So thank you, Ms. Hampton. Thank you, Ms. Lester, for this opportunity. Aaron.
Hello everyone, I'm Aaron Bellamy. I'm an education abroad advisor at University of Memphis. I've been here for 3 years, and one of my main responsibilities is like meeting one-on-one with students and helping them pick out their programs and identify like scholarship opportunities.
All right. And then I'll let Brittany introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brittany Lester with Parent and Family Department. I help run the parent and family communications as well as the student coordinator, as well as the student communications. Yeah, happy to be with you all.
All right. And again, I'm Heather Hampton. I'm Assistant Director for Parent and Family Services. And we are so excited that you are tuning in, whether you're tuning in live or listening to the recording at a later time. We wanted to bring this information to you because we feel it's important for students to take advantage of the many opportunities that the University of Memphis provides. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into our fun question. So I'm going to ask Ms. Lauman and Mr. Bellamy. What is the most memorable location for study abroad that you've experienced or just travel in general? Let us know where we should be looking to go.
Well, I'll take it first. This summer, I spent a week in Tanzania, and I have traveled to so many locations, but this rural village I visited in Tanzania has become a very special place for me. It's the place I cast my mind back to when I'm looking for a happy place. Lindi, Tanzania, and I visited a school. It's a elementary school, and now I am hoping to put together a service opportunity for our students to experience what I experienced because it was just magical. And I'm hoping that when we put together that service opportunity, we'll open it to the university community so parents will be able to also join us on this program if we do it. Thank you. Aaron.
Wow, that's awesome that parents and family members can join too. That's cool. So I hope that goes well.
Mhm.
My experience abroad that I really enjoyed, I actually did my master's degree in the Netherlands. I lived in the city of Leiden for a full year, and the city of Leiden was absolutely beautiful. I got to walk along canals on the way to class, the beautiful Dutch canals, and the city itself is like so perfectly located because I could get to like Amsterdam or The Hague or Rotterdam, a lot of the major Dutch cities, in just like under an hour by train. So Leiden would be my like answer. Leiden in the Netherlands would be my answer to that.
It's nice. I have to add both to my bucket list now.
I was gonna say me too, because I haven't been much of anywhere outside of the United States other than the Bahamas. I guess that counts
That's
too.
good. It
I've been to
counts.
the
Thank
Bahamas
you.
and I had a
Yeah,
good time.
that counts for
Brittany,
sure.
have you been anywhere out of the U.S. or in the U.S. that you?
Yeah, yeah, I did the Cancun, Mexico. I did Canada and Bahamas. So those are
Okay,
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm living vicariously through all of three of you, okay? So we'll go ahead and get started with our questions. We have curated some questions, and many of our family members around the university have submitted questions as well, because we want to know how they can support their student who may be interested or just curious about studying, doing educational abroad opportunities. So our first question to you all is, what types of educational abroad opportunities are available for students? So a member wants to know, do they have to be away for an entire semester or a year, or are there short-term opportunities as well?
Great question. We have different types. So as professionals in the field of international education, Aaron and I like it when students are studying for an academic year. We think they get the best benefits. But we also have semester programs. We have short-term programs as short as sometimes 10 days or even a week. We have summer programs. We have winter break programs. So the important thing is for the student to come to our office and meet with us and tell us what they want out of a study abroad program. And we will try to find a program that fits their schedule. We recognize that some of our students are working or want to do internships. And so having a wide variety of short-term programs as well as long-term programs is something that we hope to be able to um, afford students so that they can have options as they explore this.
Okay, very nice. Do you have anything to add, Aaron, or should I just go ahead to the next question?
You can go ahead.
Okay. What locations can students choose from for education abroad? Like, are there places that are not allowed?
Yes. So if you go to our website, I think we have over 120 study sites that students can choose from. These are from about 40, over 40 countries. So really, we want students to go anywhere in the world that we are able to send them to. The way we restrict travel is based on, we refer to a US government website. It's travel.state.gov, and they have travel advisories. And so we recommend that students don't go to any location where there is a travel advisory that is cautioning Americans not to travel to that particular location. And we do a very good job of always reviewing our programs, making sure that if a program is in a location where there is a travel alert or warning, that we are fully aware of it and removing that program from our options so that students are not considering that.
That's good. Keeping our students safe, but also allowing that opportunity for them to pretty much have an open door to the world. So, does the University of Memphis organize all of the study or educational abroad opportunities, or do you all work with like a third party service that, I don't know, not necessarily a travel agency, but a third party service that may put together the trip and what all the different components are?
Yes, we do both.
Okay.
Um, we do both. So one of the ways our students can study abroad is through a partner institution. And so we will sign an agreement with a partner institution. It's what we call a bilateral agreement, saying we form this partnership. You send us our students, we'll send you ours. And usually, if students go to locations like that, there's someone there like Aaron and I who's going to support them. And so you
Mhm.
will see a few students on campus, usually from Germany, France, and Japan, who are studying here because our students have gone to their university to study. We also use third-party providers. One of the best ways students can, if they are hesitant about going abroad, is to go abroad with a faculty member. We call these our faculty-led programs. And so for those, we use a vendor to help us arrange the logistics of the travel so that our faculty are focused on just teaching the course and have additional support on ground. And so those vendors will do the logistics of, let's say, if we want to go to a museum, we want to take a bus and go to a castle and see it. The vendors would making those arrangements, and then the faculty is focused on teaching the material. Uh, you you also asked about how we organize. We also do third-party agreements. And so some of our providers actually have programs in specific locations, and these programs are designed very well, and we send students on these programs. For instance, we have a provider in Florence, Italy, Florence University of the Arts. It's one of my favorite providers. We send a lot of students on this program, and students come back having had a very successful experience abroad.
Oh, well, that's neat, and that's great to have all of these options, depending on what the students need. So I do want to ask, is it too late for students to participate in an education abroad experience this fall?
Yes, this fall is too late. Our deadline for fall was in March. But we do have winter break programs, so they could consider doing a winter break if this is the only time that they can have the experience. But
Mm,
this fall would be too late.
okay.
That's good to know. So, family members, make sure you take note that if your student is interested, maybe in next fall, then March will be the deadline for them to prepare and get in any paperwork. So, um, what are the steps that a student should take when considering educational abroad? Like, what would be their step one, step two, step three, maybe?
I'll let Aaron take this one. Aaron?
Mhm.
Sure. I would say our step one is they should meet with one of our advisors. And there are two ways that students can meet with one of us in our office. They can either schedule an appointment through our Contact Us page. That's going to be where they have the widest range of time opportunities to meet with us. And we have three different advisors. All of us have various availabilities. The other option for scheduling an appointment with us is we have walk-in hours. For this fall semester, those walk-in hours are Tuesdays and Fridays from 1 to 4 p.m. Those can vary from semester to semester, but we list those on our Contact Us webpage as well. When they meet with us, we're going to discuss things like program options based on what country and major your student is, and we're also going to look at scholarships. We know how that important that is for all of our students. And then the next thing we always tell a student to do before starting an application was we always highly recommend they meet with their academic advisor so that they can also talk about how the courses they're considering taking abroad will fit into their degree. So once they've had conversations with those two people, the next step is see our office again and we'll help your student start an application, and we'll make sure they start any scholarship applications they can start on our end if they meet with us. So those will be the three steps I recommend for students to take.
Well, I love that because you guys are with them pretty much every step of the way before and during the trip. So, just to add on that, does the university assist students with obtaining their passport as well?
Yes, we on our website, we have a very detailed website that provides students with information on how to obtain a passport. This year, we applied for a grant from IIE and received $25,000 to help pay for students' passports. So we are doing a passport drive. It's next week, this week actually. It's on Wednesday, tomorrow. Um, and I see that Aaron has posted that in the chat. But we have a passport drive, and the first 50 students will have their passports paid for. We will refund the cost of a passport. But we do assist students in different ways, coming to our office and getting the necessary help in terms of how to apply for the passport and all the steps that you need to go through. We are again available for that.
I think that's amazing, actually, that they have that help, but not only help filling out the passport information, but some funding available for reimbursement. So that's pretty cool. So if your student is interested, definitely have them come to that event tomorrow, September 10th. Um, and so they can get that assistance that they need. So you kind of touched on our next question a little bit, but when should students start their planning process? And we know that there are deadlines that you just mentioned. One for the fall experiences is in the spring semester in March. So let's say, what is the deadline for someone who is looking to do one of those winter break experiences that you mentioned, and then maybe a spring uh, a spring experience? What deadline should they be looking out for?
Aaron.
Sure. So if you're looking for a winter break or spring experience specifically, our full spring semester and winter break deadline is October 1st. And then we also have some spring break and spring second part of term programs. That deadline is November 1st. So if you're wanting to go abroad like really soon, it's best to go ahead and meet with us as soon as possible. Like come by our fair tomorrow and then come to an appointment as soon as possible from there to get information and start planning your program. If you have a little bit more time though, and you're not urgent to go, but you're like, I know I want to next summer or next fall, that deadline is March 1st. That's our deadline for most of our programs for fall, full academic year, and summer semester. So that gives students a little bit more time. In general, though, I would always say the earlier you think about education abroad, the better, because the earlier you think about it, the more you can make sure the classes you want are available to you for your degree so that you can get financial aid to count toward your education abroad experience. So the earlier you think about it, the better to go ahead and start planning. And you can also apply often for more scholarships if you're thinking about early, because there's a lot of outside scholarships that close a lot earlier than our deadline.
Mm. Okay, that's very nice to know that if they're willing or wanting to go leave the country as soon as possible, the deadline is October 1st for those that were looking at something very soon. Um, so to answer this next question, I'm going to go ahead and it says, what additional costs should families plan for? Things such as flights, meals, visas, insurance, and anything else that you can name.
Yes. Accommodations. And it's really, families need to plan for expenses based on the location. Right. So
Mhm.
a lot of times our students who are going to Europe, you are planning, okay, my child is going to Italy or France, and this is the cost. But sometimes it becomes a little bit costlier because your student arrives there and decides, oh, it's only going to cost $50 for me to fly to Iceland and I get to see Iceland. So now I'm going to go spend the weekend at Iceland, or a few friends are going to Malta and I want to join. So you are there and you are there for, let's say, a semester. It's good to maximize that opportunity because you don't know when you buy a ticket again and go to this location. And so having a little bit extra money to do that kind of sightseeing is also helpful. We try to provide the full course for our students on our website, as well as Aaron developed a tool. It's almost like a budget, and it helps students budget for their trip. And so if you go to our website and you look at a program, you'll be able to see to plug in what you are doing and come up with a budget, an estimated budget that can guide you for this experience.
Very
I
nice.
love that, Aaron. That's pretty cool that you created that. I know it's helpful to a lot of students and their families trying to plan for all of the different expenses that may occur. Um, and the next question a parent wants to know is, does the university provide funding for education abroad? And I think that answer is yes, but I'll let you elaborate a little bit more. But then they also want to know how their student could request those funds and what do they cover. Like
Yes.
they may not cover, some of the incidentals, but they may cover the main aspects of the expenses.
Yes, yes. So the university does offer funding. We have a very generous funding. Currently, I believe our budget is about 400,000 a year in scholarships that we give away. I tell students all the time, there is never going to be a moment that someone is going to give you, let's say, $5,000 or $2,000 to go study in England and just get this money. It's free. You don't have to pay it back. And the University of Memphis does that. A lot of our competitors don't have that. So this is something that is very unique to our campus. Uh, Setting aside this large sum of money for our students to be able to take advantage of. And we really, really encourage our students. Again, the deadline for the scholarship is also March 1, right? Yeah, it's also March 1st. And so we encourage students to apply because this is money on the table, and not applying is just I don't even know what to say. I mean, if you have a GPA, I think our GPA requirement is a 2.75 for the scholarships. So we really encourage students to apply.
Do you
Okay.
typically have exhaust those funds each year, or or is there some funds that students are just not taking advantage of?
Great question. We try to exhaust it. Occasionally, we'll have a few students withdraw or cancel, and so that we have the money. But the mandate we have for that fund is to use it for the
Right.
year that we are given. And so it's really important that students apply because, well, if you don't apply, your colleagues are getting a windfall. They are getting large sums of money to go abroad, and you are getting nothing. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Um, so one of the students have asked me, do you all provide like an orientation or pre-departure training? Like, does your office provide that beforehand so they can get like more information?
Yes, we do. We actually, some of the feedback we've had, sometimes even from our own faculty, have been, do you really have to do two orientations? We do two. We do a general orientation, and the goal of our general orientation is for all the students to be in one room, for them to see you are not the only one doing this. There are so many other people doing it, and we are giving you resources on how to stay safe and how to have a great experience. And then we do a country specific orientation. There we go down into the safety details, how to travel to the location. We might bring a student who's actually been to that location to come in and answer questions. So in all this, our goal is to make sure that they are prepared for the experience they are going to have. They've had an opportunity to ask questions and also think about things that they probably haven't considered. And so we are not just telling them, okay, now you've paid, go off to this place, but we are preparing. So sometimes the orientation is even three times because if it's a faculty-led program, we also tell the faculty member, you've got to also do your own orientation when you arrive at the host destination with the students. And so students are given a lot of orientation and pre-departure information, but I think it is also one of the reasons why we can boast of a program that's successful and has a very high um, we have a high rate of safety in terms of students not going abroad and us having to deal with injuries and major life situations because we do
Mhm.
a very thorough orientation. Yes.
Well, that's
Yeah,
great.
it definitely sounds sounds very thorough, and I can appreciate that because I mean, if I have a college student, and if she was going, overseas, I would definitely want to make sure that she's well prepared and knows all the ins and outs. So we appreciate that you all have those, and I know it may be a chore for your student parents if you're listening for them to do two or even three, but it's for the best, and we want them to be safe. So those things are put in place for that. So I'm glad those are in place. Um, so a parent wants to know if their student will receive academic course credit from their experience. And I guess what type? Like, is it course credit that's considered extra, or just something that they can actually apply to their degree requirements?
So it could be either, but as a university, our main goal is to get our students to graduate. And we don't want a study abroad experience to be something that delayed your graduation. As Aaron alluded to earlier, we want to make sure that the courses, planning early is good because it helps us select courses that will transfer back. One of our policies at the university is the courses you take abroad transfer back and appear on your U of M transcript. It also goes to, it's calculated as part of your U of M GPA. So it's very important that students don't think that this is just a adventure or some travel experience. It is still an academic experience, and we expect our students to do well. It's an opportunity for our students to feel challenged. I like to tell students, you are going to go sit in a class. For instance, we have a partnership, let's say, with London School of Economics, and we all know that this is the top one of the top 100 schools in the world. So if you go to a school like this and you are sitting there and you are taking classes with students there, you are able to realize that, okay, I can hold my own if I was to go to one of these elite top institutions, and you are going to bring those credits back. So it's a rigorous experience. We talk about education abroad and we talk about the fun parts of travel, but the academic side is extremely rigorous, and we expect to bring those grades back. We will not, we don't allow, the policy doesn't allow students to say, can I get a satisfactory or an unsatisfactory, or it's going to be the letter grade and it's going to factor into your GPA. And we do tell students all this when we are advising them.
Mhm. Oh, that's very good to know, especially given the name that you're not just going abroad to have fun, but you're definitely
That's
going
true.
to
Yeah.
more. Yeah, for sure.
I'm so glad that Rebecca even said that, because I mean, I was thinking
Hmm.
kind of along the lines of some students probably, I'm getting this experience, this experience of a
Exactly.
lifetime, but no, there's academic requirements and accountability. So go ahead,
Hmm.
Brittany.
Yeah. So recently I received this question from a parent saying that their student can't speak French or whatever other language you would like to insert there, but they would like to study in a French speaking country. Is this allowed? And like, what are some of the tips that you could share with them?
Yeah, so it is allowed. We have some partner institutions that offer classes in English. And just off the top of my head, even in France, we have Lille, which is affectionately referred to as Le Cateau, the Catholic University of Lille. And I remember sending a student to Lille several years ago, and the parents visited the student at Lille, and this student didn't speak French. They were taking English language classes. Parents came back and said, "Ah, we were wondering if our student could stay for another year and maybe complete his degree at Lille." And I was like, "No, you only do study abroad for a year. I know that they're having a great experience and it's an excellent location, but your student needs to come back and complete." So we do get students studying in Korea, in Japan, in Thailand, and the courses are all taught in English. These are excellent universities. And maybe when they are there, they might pick some of the language, but it is not a requirement. And it shouldn't deter students from looking at all these locations, because we can work with them to find schools in these locations where English is the medium of instruction.
Mhm. Oh, wow, that's wonderful. That's nice to know
Mhm.
that there are even more opportunities, more than they thought beforehand that they could
Yes.
be a part of. So that's great.
So this question I think actually has already been answered, but I'm going to say it anyway. For this parent is concerned that if their daughter does a study abroad trip, then it will delay her graduation. And she is, we're like, is this true? But I think you already debunked that myth. But there may be some caveats that family members need to be aware of to make sure that their student stays on track. So maybe you can touch a little bit on that.
Yeah. Yes. So there's different ways that we try to keep students on track. For instance, if your student is using financial aid, the financial aid office isn't going to approve aid that doesn't go towards a course program of study, CPOS. So that's one way that we are monitoring and making sure that students are actually taking classes that meets graduation requirements. The academic advisors, again, in the past year, we've developed an electronic paperwork that allows students to forward the courses that they've selected to their academic advisors, so the academic advisor can approve it and say that, yes, these courses that you've identified that you are taking in Florence, Italy will transfer back to Memphis and will fulfill these requirements. And this was a big project. We worked with admissions on it. They led it. And so the admissions office, the financial aid office, as well as academic advisors on campus all have access to this form. Again, ensuring that graduation will not be delayed. Of course, there are times when a student is abroad and the course that's being offered there is so unique and the student wants to enroll in that unique course because that's part of the experience. And so there is some room for students to maybe take an elective, something that might come back as an elective, but as a team, our common purpose is to make sure that at all times the courses are all going to come back and fulfill graduation requirements.
Very nice, very nice. Um, so the next question, you already kind of answered that at the beginning, but if there's anything that you would like to add, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask it. What safety measures are in place for students studying abroad in other countries? And is there on-site staff or local support to help them while they are abroad? I know you mentioned earlier, like professor-led abroad programs, so that's one. Is there anything else you would like to add to that?
Yes, yes. Safety is probably our number one task in our office because if we get an incident, it just is going to derail the work we do. We have a mandatory insurance policy that all students who study abroad, when they pay their application fee, part of it includes insurance that covers them whilst they are abroad. And so we work very closely with this insurance provider, CISI, when there's a crisis. And CISI also sends us reports. For instance, this morning I saw a report indicating that there had been an attack in Doha. So immediately when I get a report like that, I'm going to go to the Department of State's website. Me and my team, Aaron and the team in the Education Abroad office are all trained on this. We will immediately go to the Education Abroad of, I said Education Abroad, the State Department website, look at the travel advisory, go to the OSAC site, look at all the comments, and then we have also a protocol in place in our office that tells us exactly what to do based on the scenario. And so the minute I hear there's a crisis, we go into that mode, referring to our protocols, making sure that we are doing everything that needs to be done. And we've had, well, I don't want to say so many, but we've had instances where we've had to test this protocol and it works really well. And so we have the insurance. Students have to register their trip. Our software app is one that allows students to upload um, information that we can use if there's a crisis. And so the students' health insurance, their passport, everything is there. I've had one student over 15 years ago who was stuck in Mexico. And what did we do? We called the US embassy in the city, Monterrey, where the student was, and they went and collected the student, got the student on a plane, and got them back to the US. And so we have all these measures in place for when there's a crisis and how we will handle it. Some of the places that we will refer to for information is OSAC and then the Department of State's website, but we also will refer to the specific country that the student is at, the US Embassy there to see what kind of action we can take. And things that happen to students can range from a serious illness, to maybe their wallet being picked. And in all those cases, we are there to provide support and guide the student. And
Mhm.
these days with WhatsApp, it's even made it even more easier for students to immediately contact our office and say, I need help. And then we help them. The insurance provider we have also has a telehealth option. So
Mm.
if it's a behavioral situation, again, we have that support and they kick in and we provide the necessary support for our student. Well, similar support they would get whether they were on campus or they are overseas.
Mhm. I love
Wow.
WhatsApp. That definitely
Yeah.
that comes in
Yeah, I
handy
was
with
like,
the
that's
preventative
good.
measures. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of goes along with our next question. A parent wanted to know what would happen if their student needed to come home early due to illness or emergency or other issues. But I mean, you answered that perfectly, and it's good to know, and it's reassuring to families to know that yes, we're going to focus on safety, but if something happens, there are already protocols and contacts and things in place, so your student can have the best experience even if they face illness or some other type of emergency. There's protocols in place, so that's really good to know. So we'll Brittany, you can go with the next question. We're
Mhm.
almost through with our questions, so
Mhm.
you can continue with
Sure.
that next one.
Yeah, sure. So the Education Abroad Fair is coming up, and we just want to know what resources can the students expect once they're there.
Aaron, you want to take this one?
Sure, if I miss anything, I'm sure you'll cover me.
Yeah.
So our Education Abroad Fair, I think one of the biggest highlights for students to know who want to attend that, or parents or other faculty and staff on campus, is that we will have student alumni who are there and faculty members who will be running programs. So it's a really great opportunity to talk with students who have gone abroad themselves about what their experience was like, whether they're going to the same country your student is looking at going, or if it's a completely different experience in general. It's just great to get those student perspectives because they'll listen to other students more than they'll listen to us in our office, despite being the experts, right? So that's a really good resource. I would also say we're doing a passport drive at the fair tomorrow, so students bring all the resources necessary for a passport that they can participate in that. Trying. We also do with any of our fairs, we do a scholarship raffle to 3 students who sign in, and we'll email them the information afterwards if they won. So that's all they gotta do is sign in at the front, and they'll automatically be entered into that. And we have scholarship information on most of our programs. Our third party providers will be there. So just a wide berth of information on almost any program you can think of that we offer. So did I miss anything, Rebecca?
No, I think you covered it all.
It's a lot of information at our fair.
Yes,
So
yes.
It's a
Yeah, I was
one-stop
gonna
shop.
say you got to get there. If you miss that study abroad fair, you are missing
Mhm.
out on so much. So I'm
Mhm.
like, parents, family members, if you're a student, I mean, reach out to your student even after this session and say, hey, if you're interested in study abroad or education abroad, please go to the fair. Just nudge them a little bit so that they can, for one, get that information, talk to students and faculty, and then maybe even win one of those scholarships that Aaron mentioned.
Mhm.
So our last question is really more of some tips and wisdom for family members because they worry a lot, and this parent is one of the ones, and they said, as a parent, I worry a lot about my student. How can I best support them if they decide to do education abroad? So I think, just some tips, maybe 2 or 3 tips for family members so they don't have to worry as much. Hopefully they feel less worried after hearing all this wonderful information and resources, but just something that they can take with them as they support their students will be great.
Yeah. Um, I'll say a few and then Aaron join, feel free to add some. I think one of the best ways as parents, how we can support our students would be to maybe even plan to attend that initial meeting with your students. And so when we have parent and family day and you are coming to campus, ask your student to schedule an appointment so that whilst you're on campus, you visit our office with your student. We would love to talk to your students about their options, and you being there is a lot of support for your student. If your student ever decides to go through the experience, again, planning a visit to visit and to see, you will be surprised as a parent when you get there how this student that you think needs you has become a very independent adult and is now guiding you through a location that you are now like a stranger to and don't know your whereabouts. It makes a very nice flip. So I think parents being there, listening to their students and encouraging them, reminding them about our deadlines. That's the best support you can give to your student. Aaron, if you want to add anything else.
I mean, I think you said the really big thing was just be encouraging, remind your student that you're supporting them because it is a scary experience. We won't deny that. I mean, I know it was scary my first time going abroad. I went abroad for a full year for my first time going abroad. I was a little scared about that. My mom was scared, but then she visited me like 8, 9 months in, and as Rebecca was saying, I was the one showing them around the Netherlands. But I think it's also just like give them helpful little tips or reminders there, like remind them about scholarships or to check to make sure there's not any events we're doing that may have helpful information for them. Remind them, hey, like you're packing, but are you thinking specifically about the environment you're going to? Like Italy is different weather than here in Memphis, so maybe you need to
Right.
pack a little differently just because of where you're going. Or like I lived in the Netherlands. It's a pretty rainy place in the Netherlands, so making sure I bought a raincoat before I left was pretty important. So just like reminders of like, hey, the place you're going is a little different from here. Make sure you go ahead and prep and do a little bit research. You don't need to do it for them. We want the student being the one doing that research and prep on their own end, but just remind them to do that, and that should be helpful enough for them.
All right, you all heard those tips. So make sure you're implementing those and nudging your student, and just being there to support, just letting them know that you support their decision and you're there for them and listening to what they have to say. We always say that when we talk about critical conversations, talking with your student and then listening to what they have to say. So, as you can see on the screen, there's some upcoming Education Abroad events for 2025. Again, the one that they've been mentioning is the Fall Education Abroad Fair and Passport Drive, which is September 10th. At the time of this recording, it is a day away, and it's from 11 to 3 in the Rose Theater. But Rebecca or Aaron, if you all want to highlight any of the other events, encourage parents to maybe do a screenshot of this slide. That way you'll have those and you can plug them into your calendar to nudge your student. And and then we also, do you all want to highlight any of the other ones on here? I know there are several that are coming up. Um,
I think our students really enjoy the happy hours that we do. We do it at our office, and it's at they are able to schedule a time to come in and complete their application and get support from the staff, and get their questions answered without having to schedule a meeting. And I think I would encourage parents to ask their students to attend some of our happy hours if they are considering going abroad.
okay.
I would also highlight the Gilman Scholarship Workshops. If your student is a Pell Grant recipient, that's a scholarship from the U.S. government just for Pell Grant recipients, and so
Wow.
we give a breakdown of what the essays and stuff look like for that scholarship. And 50% of our students on campus are Pell Grant recipients, so
Mm,
it's a high likelihood that could apply to your student.
right. That's true. That's true. They have one today at 2 o'clock here in a few minutes, and then one on the 11th. which is also this week. So definitely take advantage of that. But you all have some great events planned to help students find out as much information as they can. And so hopefully more students will begin to take advantage of this uh, education abroad. Here is the Education Abroad office. They're located in the International Center in room 110. There's their email address, their website, and also you can follow them on Instagram. So you follow them, but also encourage your student to follow them and get in touch with them if they have any questions, or if they just you heard the information today and just need someone to kind of walk you through. They have a lot of resources available for that. But I want to thank our guests today for taking the time to educate all of us and to let us know about the wonderful resources and experiences and opportunities that the Education Abroad program has. And so I'm really excited for all of our U of M Tigers to be able to have this wonderful resources, and hope they will take advantage of those. But thank you all so much for sharing your time with us and your expertise. I do have a few announcements on the parent and family services side. So just a reminder, the care packages, our hugs from home, and our bundles are on sale now through Sunday, September 14th at 11:59 p.m. Central. So make sure that you don't let your student miss out on that. We don't want them to have FOMO. So go ahead and purchase those care packages, and we will distribute them on September 23rd and 24th. So your student will receive that first hugs from home, and then finals care packages will go on sale a little bit later in October. And also, Parent and Family Weekend is coming up this year. It's October 24th through the 26th, and it is in conjunction with homecoming. So there is going to be so much going on campus, so many fun activities and events. But registration is open for Parent and Family Weekend. We encourage you to go ahead and register yourself, your entire family, including siblings and grandparents and aunts and uncles too. But you can visit our website for details and to access the registration link. And that early registration rate does end on September 30th. And then join the Parent and Family Association. It's not too late to become a member. You get a biweekly e-newsletter, some swag, and then you get free parking on campus when you come to visit your student. And there's more benefits there. But if you have any questions, you can visit our website or reach out to us, and we'll be happy to share some of those benefits with you. And lastly, I do want to invite you to our next Tiger Talk, which is September 30th. We're going to be hosting our campus partners from CASA. That's the Center for Academic Success and Achievement. And they have some great resources there to support your students academically with tutoring, writing, presentations, with academic coaching, and more. So make sure you make plans to attend that Tiger Talk on September 30th, 2025. Or you can check out any of our Tiger Talks on our YouTube channel. But thank you for listening. Thank you for attending. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next Tiger Talk. Bye bye.